Hello everyone and welcome back to the studio here in Northumberland on a beautiful sunny day. It's not even summer yet, but it's already hot and sunny. And today's painting, to be honest, I've got no idea what I'm going to do with it because it's a little bit out of my comfort zone in the light and everything that's in it. Because this is I'll just pin that up there so you can see it. This is an Australian scene. And I've never ever painted an Australian scene. It's just like a different light really. And the trees are a bit wobbly as well. I think that's a what tree?
Gum tree.
Gum tree. A gum tree. Probably. One of those anyway. And so yeah, I shall just find out how I'm going to paint the painting when I actually start painting it. And I'm doing this one as a bit of a special request actually. It's for, who do you say it was? Jeremy and Alison Coleman, and they live in Australia. And I said, yeah, of course I'll do an Australian scene because I've never done one before. So like I say, bit of out of my comfort zone. I'll stop waffling now and do a bit of drawing. I suppose I should have started this morning with good day. Good day. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it, girl? Yeah, okay.
Very
cheers,
authentic.
yeah. I know. Right, on with it. And I'm starting off with the building, which is about up here, and I've just taped off the top and the bottom of the paper, so that I can tape the sides when I finish the drawing. And a fairly deep roof on this one as well. And I think this is like corrugated. You know what I mean? Wobbly at the bottom. A wobbly bottom. And I shall make that show when I put the shadow in. And a little bit more out here. And the walls of the building. Yep. And always remember when I'm doing these films that I'm pressing on harder with my pencil than you actually need to press on when you're doing it at home. I press on harder so that you can always see the outline. And a little bit there. You can just see a tiny smidgen of the left-hand side, the shadowed area. Just a little bit there. Tiny smidgen. That's an Australian term, you know, girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they say smidgen a lot in Australia.
We certainly don't say it much here.
Oh, thank you for that. I wonder if they'll say, if they say hello and things like that.
Who?
Australians. Am I talking rubbish?
I think you'd be an Australianist.
I'm not being Australianist at all. Another one here. Slightly rounded top to these windows. That's what I'm seeing on this photograph anyway. Might not be, could just be the red wine that I had. And there's one there, which is not rounded. And then, I've got a lot of grass and stuff in front of these. And the grasses are a lot, kind of like, you can see what I'm thinking about all the time because there's a lot of heat in that painting. Do you understand what I mean, girl?
Yeah.
Because if you understand, they'll understand. There's a lot of warmth, heat in there. Arid.
Arid heat, yeah.
Arid, that's right, yeah. And so consequently, when I do the actual painting, I should be using sand quite a bit here because that will give you kind of like a bit of a dustiness to the whole thing. Was that you then?
My breakfast going down.
Charming. And here's some bushy bits here. A few bushy bits, which will be joined up by twiggy bits. I have no idea what kind of trees these are. Was it this guy that I'm painting this for in his life? Was it this guy that said, actually, I don't watch you, but I like some of the funny clips?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Jeremy. So you don't actually like me then?
So he didn't like you, he doesn't paint.
You just doesn't paint.
But he can contribute in the comments and describe what kind of trees you're painting.
Well, you don't have to. Like that. And now I've got some stuff here, which is actually green, or will be green. And a lot of the arid stuff in front of that as well.
Arid stuff.
Arid stuff. That's a new technical term. You gotta keep coming in with the new technical terms. And now a bit of distance here, like so. And that distance goes up there as well. And I've got quite a few bits of trees in the far distance there. You can just kind of like see them between the foreground trees. Can you see them there? And I've noticed already, apart from that one there, there's not a lot of twiggy bits in the trees. It's kind of like mainly the boughs. Like this, look here. There's not lots of twigs in there.
No.
When you see them. I wasn't talking to you, Gail.
Oh.
Okay.
Just agreeing with
you. Okay. Well, you can keep agreeing with me. That's good. Thank goodness for small mercies. That's what I say. And now coming across here with this. I'm going to be taping this off quite a bit at this end, either side, I think. And now I've got a clump of trees here, which are really quite distinctive. They're Australian trees, those, Gail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Forget that.
Well, you know now. Well-travelled man, me, you know.
You ever been to Australia?
No. Too hot. And it's too many big nasty spiders. And things that want to kill me. I've got an uncle that lives in Australia.
Yeah.
He's lived there for... Well, of course I have. I've just said so, haven't I? He's been there for about 50 years. And he owns a couple of fairly big restaurants, I think. And he's got a ranch. Do they have ranches now?
Yeah.
He's got one of them anyway.
You never been out to see him?
No, why would I?
Family, innit?
I don't even know what he looked like now, I don't think. And I've got another one here. These are a bit wind blown, aren't they?
They are.
Disagree with me, that's all.
No, they are. Wind blown. Atmospheric.
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 Okay. And there's actually just mopping there, blocking there where I'm going to put that very sparse foliage that's on there. Now for these big trees here. It's got a rough edge there. See that?
Oh, yeah.
That's one of those Australian spiky trees. You can tell I know a lot about it, can't you? These are really quite large. In front of that one, I've got the kookaburra tree. Is it a kookaburra tree?
Gum tree.
Gum tree, that one as well.
Kookaburra's a bird, isn't it?
I can't have a buzzard in this one, of course, no.
No.
Don't want that tree there. So I shall put it there. I shall have a big kookaburra flying over. Comes up there. I should be taping off there as well. And coming up there. And now I'll finish off that one there. Coming up, which will be behind that one. And that's very, very dark in comparison to that one, as you can see.
Yep.
That's known as an Australian black tree. What?
Australians will be cringing at you.
I doubt it. I'm doing his painting.
Your botanical knowledge is nil.
Don't know how you can say that. Like that. Coming down there. And that will disappear behind that tree trunk there. And now I've got a couple more of those. A couple more of this kind of tree, gum trees. And they're very spartan on top, aren't they?
Mm.
I think that'll do for that actually. And now, a lot of undergrowth here. I think we can call that a path, can't we?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, it probably is a path actually. Seems to kind of like disappear a little bit here. Intimate a path here. And that's why I'll be putting quite a bit of sand. And some grassy stuff here. I'm keeping an eye out for yellow blocks.
Right.
And green blocks.
Right.
That's the way I'm working it out to myself anyway.
In your head, like.
In my head. If I had any brain, I would know what I'm talking about. I'm a bit like Bert at the moment with this painting. No idea what's going on in life. Yeah, I'll do. There, drawing done. Now you can see I've taped off. That's the size of my painting. Got rid of any bits of drawing that I don't want. And the sky is a very, very simple one on this one. It's just a fairly strong cobalt blue. So, starting off with my big 1.5 inch brush, as normal, and come all the way through here. Go through the trees and everything, apart from the building, because that's easy enough to miss. With a flat wash brush, you can just got a nice sharp edge, you can just go around things like that. And again, a little bit more water on the top, flooding that thing. There, that'll be fine. Now, I'll mop up the bottom and just cobalt blue. Bit of that there. Cobalt blue, like so. And there we go, splash it on. I want that a little bit stronger. There, that's better. And just bring it down. Burst decided he's going to kill someone. The repelling borders, girl.
Yeah.
Have you ordered something from Amazon?
Possibly.
Just put on a little bit stronger with the blue there and bring it down. Now mop up again. Wash it out, squeeze it out. Mop up, get rid of that drip there. Mop up there. And I'm just mopping up there round the building roof. And I've got a couple of tiny wispy clouds in there. You see, that is tiny, isn't it?
Very tiny.
Hi Frank, you all right mate? Frank's decided to visit. You can show Frank. Oh, Bert's here as well.
Oh, boys.
The babies have come to inspect.
I'm going to lie under my feet and I'm going to trip over them.
You're used to it, aren't you? You're used to it, aren't you? And again, mop up.
I haven't usually got a camera in my face.
You haven't got it in your face, it's in my face. And let that dry. A very simple sky. Now, my sky's dried, but it's a little bit dampish at the bottom, but that's not going to bleed. And I've gone to my 3/4 inch brush now, and I'm just put a little bit of yellow ochre and plenty of water into it there. And this is for that distance there, but that's a little bit too weak actually. That's better. Yeah, that's better. There you go, straight through there. Pop it on. And some of that over here as well. It's not necessary to go around bits. Unlike these trees here. You can always take it out afterwards. I'll show you what I mean. A bit of yellow ochre there. Now, a little bit of light red. And remember, light red is not a red made lighter. So don't get your cadmium red and stick plenty of water into it and think that you've made light red. You haven't. You've made your red lighter. Light red, it's its own colour. It's more akin to burnt sienna, but it's milder in tone. There. Now, wash out, squeeze it out, and just soften it over. Now, what I'm talking about is taking out. It's still wet, but you can do it when it's dry as well. Look, all I'm doing is wash my brush out, squeeze it out between my fingers, and suck out the paint. Look, there. And this, it doesn't particularly matter on these because the tree trunks are really quite dark on these, as I'm looking at the photograph. And that. Look, just take out. Simple. It matters on this one because this is a light coloured bark. Take out. Very easy. And again there. Isn't that easy, girl?
Very easy.
Yeah, simples. Now I'm going to change to my number 8 round brush, and for the building, for the roof, I'm going to use cobalt blue and sand, Charles Evans sand. Like that. There. And I think that should be a little bit dark. That's about spot on for that.
I'm trying to show them the picture.
That's all right for that.
No, mate, you keep moving in front of me.
Well, I'm sorry for being here.
It should be. It should be done a lot quicker.
I'm
if
the
you weren't
painter.
here.
Oh, thank you. Who's going to do it then? Frank?
It's like a shop. It would run more efficiently if there weren't customers in it.
I mean, I'm trying to get round him as well. That's the thing about sunny days. You have to have the studio door open all the time, which means the beasties have got free access. Yeah. And remember, like I said about this roof, it's corrugated, so I shall do that when I put the shadow on. Show you what I mean. Now, again, this is the business about these round brushes. You notice I dipped in once and started painting this, and I still haven't dipped in again. And now I'll paint this one as well. So I've done all of those roofs with one dip of the paint. Like so. There. Easy peasy. And for the walls of that building, I'm going to start off with yellow ochre. Plenty of water into that. Plot those in there. I'm not touching the base of the roof, because otherwise that would bleed in, because it's still very wet. So. And just fill it. And again, like I said, the water holding or paint holding capabilities of these brushes, that's one dip. I've gone all the way across. So, you can see that bleeding in there, can't you? Mm-hmm. I meant that to happen.
Didn't like to mention it.
That's a change. I meant that to happen.
Did you?
Not really.
Well, you did, so you could show how to correct
it. Yeah. But I'm not going to show how to correct it. So now, while that's still wet, just leave that for a second or two. But I will come into the dark side now. The dark side. Again, cobalt blue. And this time, I'm going to put a tiny touch of light red into the cobalt blue. There. Like that. With the tip of my round brush, just fill in there. I'm being a little bit careful. You can tell that, can't you?
It's because you're doing it slowly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not bashing it on.
I can read body language, me.
Took as much rubbish as me. Now, there's a few stones in there, a bit of stonework. And I've got raw umber. Raw umber, like I always say, raw umber's about the best brown you can get, because you've got a nice standalone brown. If I put blue into that, that gives me a sepia. If I put a touch of burnt sienna into my sepia mix, I've got Van Dyke brown. If I take my raw umber and burnt sienna together, I've got burnt sienna. Burnt umber, sorry. Now, for this one, I've got raw umber and a tiny touch of light red into it. I'm just going around those windows there. Like so. And across the top. I'm just tracing around the outer edge of the windows. A lintel on top of there. You see, even in Australia they've got lintels, you know. I know about this kind of thing.
They're all over the place.
Now, a few stones.
Like kookaburras.
Yeah, just like kookaburras, yeah. That seepage bit there, you notice how I turned that into stones? That was clever, that, wasn't it?
That's clever. How are you going to do that on the roof?
I know what I'm doing, me. Oh, what?
How are you going to do that on the little roof?
Don't be cheeky.
There's no stones there.
That. Now, that colour that I've got on my brush, I'm going to go into the darker side again. So, as well as being dark, just adding a bit of warmth to it, look. Now, I'm just going to finish this building off actually, totally. And really, as such, there are no windows in this building. It's just like a window frame. But I can't leave it just white. So I've just got a little bit of blue, cobalt blue, and sand, but darker than I use it for the roof. And like I said, as such, there's no windows. It's just like a window frame there, but I don't think there's anything in it. I think it's a bit of an old shack. Having said this, I hope this is not where they live.
Apologies in advance.
Apologies in advance, anyway. Bit there.
It's a minefield.
And another one there. Frank, stop cleaning yourself. Everybody can hear it. A bit there. Leave a little bit in the middle. Like so. And more or less the same there, but smaller. Have you got a good shot of this photograph to show everybody at the end? Of the photograph I'm working from?
Yeah.
Good. I'll just hand it to you. There. Now, with that same colour that I've just done the inside of those, whilst they're still drying a little bit, I'm just going to give the impression of corrugated on this roof. And I just need a few broken lines coming downwards, but just make sure they come down in the right direction. Slight flow to the right there, diagonal slightly. That makes sense, Kel?
Sort of.
I know what I mean. Digital like that. Few bits coming down here and there. Don't need to fill the whole thing in. A bit of a gap there. And when you're doing something, an old building of any kind, no matter which country you're in, don't have perfect straight lines because you're just making everything regular and boring. Add a bit of age by having some wobbly lines, which is very handy when you drink red wine like I do. Were you about to say that, were you?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Leaving it for you.
You haven't made many comments on this girl. It's obviously looking all right.
I haven't been able to get a word in edgeways.
Frank, scratching yourself on the leg of my easel is not very good. The whole thing's wobbling. Thank you.
You'll get banned if you're not careful, Frank.
You will get kicked out. And it won't be by me. Yeah. Now, for the shadow in there. And that is cobalt blue. Alizarin crimson. So I've made it really awful purple. Then tone that back with a tiny touch of burnt sienna. There. See? Now, I shall put that in those windows first. Around the top and down the sides. A bit there. And again there. And a bit down there. Now, for the roof, again, thinking about the corrugated roof, don't do a straight line of roof shadow. Push that up there, like so. Pushing the tip of the number 8 round brush upwards into the roof. The tractors are busy today, aren't they?
Must be harvesting something.
Pushing up there. Now, just with a clean damp brush, stroke across the bottom, look. Spread that colour down a little bit. And you see how that makes the corrugated roof. You see that, Gil? Is that clever?
Very effective.
Yep.
Done this before, haven't you?
Once. Last time I was in Australia. Bit there. And that'll do for the building. That's good and dried now. Now for these trees, green trees, either side of the building. But it's a lighter green as well. Well, it's light and very strong at the bottom. So I'm starting off with a little bit of yellow ochre. Plenty of water into that. And get that in here. Looks I haven't filled it all in with yellow ochre. A few dabs there as well. And a few bits there. Now the green I'm going to use for this is Hooker's green and yellow ochre. Bit of that. Get out and walk. That's it. It's not coming out there, dried up.
Just dried up. I'll put some more paint on it.
I just happen to have a handy selection of Dale Army.
Oh, excellent.
And the nearest one I come to. Now again, hook screen. Yep. Ooh,
Better.
yummy. And lots of yellow ochre in there, look. There. Plenty of water again. And dibble dabble. And dibble dabble. Another technical term now. Just dabbing on, leaving little bits of the yellow ochre showing through here and there. Carefully around the buildings. Down to that. And I've got the boughs of the trees coming up through that. And it's easy enough to miss them out, but like I say, if you can't, paint through and then take them out again, like I showed you over here. And a bit of that over here. Again, carefully around that building. And stipple. Likewise here. Leaving a little bit more of the yellow ochre showing here. Because that's going to catch a little bit more light than that one. And all the way down to there, yes. And in front of that, I've got this lighter rough growth at the base. Now, just blue, cobalt blue. Nice and strong down there. A bit stronger than that, I think. I just realised that this Hooker's green that I've just squeezed out is actually artist quality paint. Artist quality Hooker's green rather than aquafine. But that's okay, they mix and match.
It's just a bit stronger, isn't
Yeah, yeah, just a little bit stronger. A little bit of cobalt blue down there as well. A bit more blue. Yeah, that's better. I like that better, girl.
Good.
And a bit down the bottom here as well. Because of course where I'm putting this dark here will make a nice sharp contrast between the light of these grasses in front. That sounded like I knew I was doing that, didn't it?
Wow, very impressive.
I impressed myself. Now, again, clean that brush, soften. There. Yeah, all right. First lot of trees done. Now this lot here, this next clump of trees, this one, I'm going to do the stalks first, tree trunks I mean, when I say stalks. And for that, I'm going to use raw umber, and I've changed my rigger brush, raw umber, and a touch of burnt sienna. And a tiny touch of cobalt blue. Yeah. That's nice, isn't it?
Mm.
Nice and rich. And I've got a few twiggy bits. Twiggy bits. It's technical time now.
I know.
You should be a master of painting after all. Because you know all the terminology.
Probably talk the talk. It's the painting that's the problem.
You know all the terminology. By the way, anybody that hasn't got the book Watercolour Rescue, you can see a lot of Gail's paintings in there as well. They are referred to as Gail's fails.
Done on purpose.
Done deliberately. So she keeps telling me.
To show what could happen.
And then I show you how to put them right in that picture, in that book, sorry. It's gone down very well, that book, hasn't it?
It has.
A few more twiggy bits here and there. So, and a few more bits in the top there. Just fine bits in the top. Now I want to darken that a little bit, especially towards the base. So again, cobalt blue, because that's the blue of my sky. So that's what I'm using for the darker bits as well. Cobalt blue and burnt sienna. We'll have some darker bits here and there. And that's all before I put the foliage on. Nice contrast that. I think we should go and do a course in Australia, girl. I beg your pardon, Frank. You wouldn't be coming, mate.
Oh, don't leave me.
That was Frank in the background talking. Hello, everyone. That wasn't Gail whinging. Yeah, a little bit darker here and there now. And now I shall go to my 3/4 inch brush, and the main lot of it, it's not really that green, to be honest. I'm starting off with yellow ochre, a little bit of water into that, and split my brush. I'm splitting my 3/4 inch brush there, like so. Look. Like that, girl.
Mm. Lovely effect.
Done that before, you know.
Really?
Yeah, like I say, last time I was in Australia.
Mm.
Bits of that. A few touches down here as well. Now, I'm going to use raw umber and light red because, of course, it's that warmth again. There. Yeah, I like that. Do you like that?
I do like it.
I'll get some tea tonight.
Don't know about that.
There, that's them done. Now, it's big foregroundy bits. More technical terms there. And what I'm going to use for this, look, yellow ochre, but now some sand into the yellow ochre. The sand is such a useful colour for so many things. Look. And I've made more of a Naples yellow there. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Bits here. And across that. Frank, please. Your dog's an embarrassment.
He's cleaning his paws. It's not Frank, it's Bert.
Bert, give yourself a break, mate.
Frank, there's Frank. Sleep in the sun.
Now that's yellow ochre and sand mixed. Now just yellow ochre. Bert, pack it in. Thank you. One word from me.
Just carries on doing it.
Why do I have no say whatsoever in this household?
Ask yourself.
Okay. That's just yellow ochre now. And we'll have a few touches of just yellow ochre in amongst that lot as well. Look. See? When I say just yellow ochre, I mean with water, obviously, but no other colour mixed in. And now a little bit of light red. And again, the light red is going to add that little bit of warmth here and there. Again, wash out, squeeze out. Now just with those dabs, with a clean damp brush, look, just dab on here and there, soften, merge them in a little bit. And it's drying very quickly in here today as well, so it doesn't actually matter if it's dry or if it's wet. You can still merge with a damp brush. Yeah, that'll do. I just want to finish off that tree because it's still glistening a little bit, so it's not going to bleed in too much, but enough. So again, raw umber, a touch of burnt sienna, and a touch of cobalt blue. Yeah. And again, bring that down in amongst the foliage there. With my rigger brush, fabulous brushes. A lot of people are scared of rigger brushes for some reason, because, well, for some reason, I know why, it's because they are flicky and bouncy. But, you know, just let the brush do its thing. Perfect for twigs. Of course, a rigger brush was invented for painting rigging on tall ships. Hence, rigging. You didn't know I knew about history, did you?
Well, it's a revelation to me.
I know about history because I am part of history. I am so old.
But all your toys are in the Children's Museum of Toys. Sad when that happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi. used to play with those.
We made a programme, when I was on Time Tees TV, before I went to Discovery TV days, we made a programme about, what's that museum? At Chesterfield Street. That museum, open air museum. You know what I mean?
No. Oh, Beamish.
Beamish, yeah. And whilst the cameras were setting up for the next take kind of thing, I was talking to the guy in the hardware store, the general store, and everything I saw, I remember my grandparents using them.
Yeah, so you truly are part of history.
Thank you. A few darker bits there now. And that's actually finished. Coming down there. A few darker bits. That's just cobalt blue and a tiny touch of light red. All the darker bits. I'll do that. Now it's to these big trees here in the foreground. I've got a couple of little twiddly bits over there in the distance, but I'll do them when I finish the big trees. And I'm starting off with the dark one behind. And for this, it really is a dark, strong tree. And so I'm going in with cobalt blue. Cobalt blue there. And again, raw umber. Might have another colour in there yet as well. Cobalt blue and raw umber. There you go, you see. And a little touch of burnt sienna here. Yeah, that's okay. And now just not to get mixed up with my trees. I'm going to have more light in this tree here than I've actually got in the painting. Well, there is quite a bit of light in the photograph, I mean. There is quite a lot of light in the photograph as well. But I want to accentuate that even more. Did you get that, Gail? Accentuate.
Accentuate. Heavens.
Yeah, heavens, that's one now.
Swallowed a dictionary.
Now, roughing that up at the edge of the bark there as well, look. If you remember, I did point out that's... What? I did!
You did.
It's a rough tree at the edge.
You did. You're pointing out that you pointed it out.
You see? You're correcting me there.
I'm just showing that you can remember things for more than 5 minutes.
What's your name?
Tell you when I find out.
Putting that up here as well. Where's that? Where's that? Oh, yeah, there we go. That down. And again, all with my number 8 round brush. And now again, I'm going back to this yellow ochre and sand. Yeah. And that's sticking out a little bit at the minute, but I'm going to merge those in a second. Because of course it's drying so quickly that raw umber mix was dried already. But it will be fun. And again, roughing up a little bit. And some of that down here as well. Now, clean damp brush. Merge them a little bit though, just with a clean damp brush. Effective, that. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very mergy.
It's mergy, is it? Mm-hmm. Fine. Okay. I shall go back in and darken that to the left-hand side even more in a minute. Whilst that's drying, I'm just going to go with my rigger brush to these little bits in the far distance. Little trees are a long way off there, look. I'm not not going to paint that one because that ended up in the middle of a bough, middle of a tree trunk. And a little bit of green on top of those. Nice and weak. Actually, whilst I've got a little bit of that shadow mix still left, I'll just give those some shadows there. Look. What a difference that makes, isn't it?
Ties them down, doesn't it?
Ties them down to the ground. Now, back to my round brush, and it's this big.
Do you see what I did there? Tiny kangaroo down.
Oh, God. He's so awful. These Australian people are watching this.
I didn't do it on purpose.
You're being Australian.
It just struck me when I said it.
Now, time for my kookaburra tree. Keep the camera still. And for this, I'm starting off with sand. You've got the giggles, haven't you? Don't do it.
I'll stop now.
No, yeah. So, starting off with sand. It's a very light coloured base to the bark of this tree. Stop giggling, Gail. Bit there. Bit there. Do you want me to stop painting? Because I can sense it going on.
No, I'm stopping.
And in any case, you shouldn't be mentioning that song because that was done by the unmentionable.
Oh yes, well, that's true.
That other painter. Bit of that there. And like I say, it's very light coloured base colour for this tree trunk. I think that's probably what's so distinguishable. Do I mean distinguishable?
Well, we might do.
That and the fact that a lot of the bark seems to be peeling off. Bit of sand there as well. Bit there. For a couple of trees, or a tree, sorry, just further back. And now I've got sand and raw umber mixed. There's my raw umber. A bit more of it. And now put a touch of sand into the raw umber. There. Quite a nice colour. And what I'll do is put it on the side there like that and push it across a little bit. Does that work, do we think?
Yeah.
It does a bit, doesn't it? Yeah. He said in a very surprised manner. A little bit of that up here as well. And there'll be some dark in the darker sides of these as well in a minute. But yeah, that's all right for the base. A bit more of that. Basically, I'm just messing up the colour a little bit at the bottom. And that gives the effect of a bit of roughness. Now, a little bit of cobalt blue again, and burnt sienna. Nice and dark. There. And up here. What was that?
My watch.
A bit of darkness down there as well. Now, clean that brush and soften some of those across. Bit there. Just with a damp brush, I'm just merging colours a little bit, pulling across a little bit. Just basically just moving it around. Stiff along. Yeah, that'll do. That's that again.
Oh, very nice trees those.
I think we need some twigs on some of those. Just in the bottom bits. Sorry, in the top bits. That's here. And there's a few bits coming out of here as well. Rigger brush, just pull it out, flick it up a little bit. That's it.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous, really. I said I would be darkening the big tree behind a little bit more. So again, the cobalt blue and burnt sienna mix. Bit of that. Bit of that. And again, down here, look. And that dark there also makes this tree stand out a little bit more. There, that's better. Yeah, I can live with that, girl.
Good.
Now it's just a matter of bashing off foreground before we put final shadows in this look. So I'm starting off with that, what appears to me to be a path there, path. Bit more sand, more water, splash down that. Yeah, does that look like a path? Do you go?
It does.
Yeah! Put that there. Now, while all that's still wet, I'm going to go in with some more yellow ochre here. And all of this I'm doing with my 3/4 inch flat brush. Put the yellow ochre there. Start and flick up here now as well. And let that run in a little bit. So colours are starting to merge here. A bit down here as well. I've got some green down there. Bit of yellow ochre there as well. I keep looking at the photograph to see more or less where to put the colours before I go into any details with them. Now I've got Hooker's green and yellow ochre. Hooker's green with a lot of yellow ochre. Even more yellow ochre. That's cool. flick up here, look. Bit more yellow ochre. Yes, that's better. And bring this down a little bit. We'll be having some darker stuff in between there as well in a minute. Just dabbing on with the sharp of the brush up. Begin here. Now start and bring this down to the other yellow ochre that I put on earlier. Start and join them up. And flick. All various brush strokes going on here, but all with the same brush. 3/4 inch flat, 3/4 inch fast. It's such a useful, versatile brush for so many things. And well, before I come down to that yellow ochre there, I'm just going to, a few more flicks there. I'm just going to drop a little bit of light red into there as well. Plenty of water. Just like red, look. When I say just, I mean with water. Bring that down to the other stuff now. Let the colours run and merge. Everything's still wet, you can see it shining. A bit more light red. Still with light red. And a few bits of that down here as well. How's that looking, Kat?
Looking good.
Does it look a bit hot?
Mm-hmm.
Frank's really fascinated in what's going on here.
But not even looking this way.
I don't know why you're here, boys. It's a lovely day outside. That's probably why they're here. Fix that as well. I'm just looking around now, see where I want to alter colours slightly. And I'm doing the altering with light red because that is the warm colour. A few bits here, look. So, both coming up to here actually. Oh, that's better, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm going to do when I've done this is give that actually 5 minutes to dry so it's good and totally dry. And then put the shadows in, which will kind of like tie the picture together. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that bit there. Makes a change for me to be happy, doesn't it?
It does.
Thank you. I'm fiddling a bit there now. I'll leave that late dry, ready for shadow. Okay, it's all dry now, more or less. Enough to put the shadows on anyway. So, again, cobalt blue. Because that's the blue of my sky. Alizarin crimson. So I've made that naff purple again. then tone that back with a little bit of burnt sienna. So basically, for the shadow, it's the blue of your sky plus alizarin crimson plus burnt sienna. Now I'm going to start off with a little bit of shadow from those. So I'm just using the corner of my 3/4 inch brush there. And a bit of shadow from this building here. This building here. It's the only building. You know what I mean. Let's do that. And some shadow from these. Corner of my brush in. You comfortable, Frank? Making enough noise about it, mate. A bit of that. Just the corner of my brush there. Get a little bit more water into that. Just to spread that a little bit there. The shadows make all the difference. It just kind of gives you your dark and your light. And now some from here. And from here. I can't actually see that for the light shining on the painting on it. And edge this a little bit. And spread that a little bit. And I'm going to bring those across into the path as well. Sorry, the path as well. All right?
Yeah. Very nice. And scenic and atmospheric.
Australian.
Australian, yes.
Yeah. Bit of dark down there as well. This is all still the shadow colour, a little bit down as well. And now, just up there, with my reader brush, we've got a kookaburra flying over.
A very small kookaburra.
Well, that one's
Not
very
like
small.
seagulls.
That one's small. Look.
Okay.
It's the kookaburra about to start laughing.
Mm.
You see, that's an Australian bird as opposed to a buzzard.
You're right.
Yeah, of course I'm right. And there we go. All I've got to do now is take the tape off. And there we go, finished painting. Bit of a different atmosphere to normal, but it's a different country to normal. Hopefully I've got a little bit of the heat of the place, but I'm quite pleased with it anyway. So don't fiddle about, don't mess about too much, you know all that. And as per usual, I've just used my normal brushes and my normal colours, but I've just mixed them differently. And the sands come into play a lot in this one as well, just for lightening areas and lightening different colours as I mix them. The paper I've used, exactly the same as normal, my Langton Rough. We've got this in two sizes, A3 and A4. And the paints I used, again, as normal, the Aquafine paints, apart from one squeeze of Booker's Green, because of my mistake, which was artist quality rather than Aquafine. But as you can tell, I mean, Aquafine, they're beautiful, strong colours, beautiful, rich pigment.
Can't get too close to you, there's a dog in my way.
Dog in your way.
Thank you.
There, Aquafine.
There's a dog in my way, look.
Daler Rowney Aquafine. You can't go wrong with those because they are good strong colour, good strong pigment, because they have got natural pigment in them as well. And again, the brushes I'm using, actually I'll show you the books first, because we've got several books in watercolours. This one, everyone's favourite book, that. It's sold worldwide, all over the place, that. Top tips kind of thing. And it's basically full of tips and techniques and what to do and how to do them. And that one, that's the one I was talking about earlier with Gale's Fails in. We'll just show you a quick Gale's, look. That's the painting that I did. And that's Gale's Fails. Basically it just shows you how to correct things throughout the painting. And of course Coastal Landscape, again a really good seller. Lots of books, and it's all on my website, charlesevансart.com, so you can see everything there. And incidentally, I was asked about our prices last week when I was out on the road at an art society, and they were astonished at the price of them. They are more or less about 50% cheaper than the shops, and I mean all the shops. So have a look before you go anywhere else. If you're just wanting the stuff that I use, have a look on the website first. The brushes I'm using, as normal, 3/4 inch flat, 1.5 inch flat, number 8 round and number 4 rigger. Aquafine again. And again, I also use these for my acrylics. Good sturdy brushes. So the normal kit, just a different way of using it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. And hopefully you Australian brethren have enjoyed it. Gail will be in touch. Love to see you. Take care.